Devon Brown, appreciate you joining me. Episode 4 going to be coming at you. Live video coming out Tuesday, so be ready for that. Going to be an awesome episode. Wait until you see the fitness gym that this gentleman has, that he runs his business out of. It is absolutely phenomenal. I was telling you that, you know, when we go through podcasts and we go through learning about the community and people in the podcast or in the community, you don't take into consideration those people who run businesses out of their home. This one's very, very unique. You'll see on the YouTube video this amazing gym that he's got in here. To be honest with you, I pulled into his driveway. It's not what I was expecting at all. And I think Devon, when we first pulled up and when I walked in, I think he could agree with me. He goes, "This isn't going to be your average gym," and it's not. I mean, as you can see in this video, and I post a picture today as well of the when we promote the podcast out, the episode 4. You'll see how impressive this gym is, and he's very unique compared to your typical Family Fun and Fitness, your Hancock Wellness, your Planet Fitness. He runs his own fitness shop out of his own house here, and it is in Greenfield, just off of 350 West, right before the Philadelphia area, if you're familiar with that. Devon, appreciate you joining me. I know this is kind of one of those things that we decided, after talking to you, I'm like, you're somebody that everybody needs to know about. Not only just as a person, but also with your unique style of and your passion towards the fitness, mindset. Also, for people who are just trying to change themselves personally as well. And I think it begins a lot with, with what you're doing self-care wise. A lot of people take into consideration, I need to, make sure I spend time thinking, or I need to make sure I eat better. You're a big component of. There's an exercise factor that helps with your mental health as well, and I think it all starts with that. And like I said, you're a big component of that, and you're passionate about what you do. So I appreciate you joining the show. I hope this is something that will help advocate some an avenue of pushing things out for you as well. I know that you're wanting to get going in some video work and things of that nature. So appreciate you joining me, Devon.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Well, yeah, it's a hard sell sometimes for me of, hey, come train in my garage, because that sounds like some creepy dude, especially right now since I got the beard going on for my race. Some weird dude's like, hey, come train in my garage. But we do have this studio built out. It is there's a lot of equipment in here. Not that makes a workout, but we've invested in a lot to make sure that we have the best things, and we have a huge variety. So I think it does a disservice just to call it a garage gym, as you've seen. You pull into a house and you're like, oh great, the dude's gonna have a squat rack and a treadmill in the corner, and some 1980s sweatbands up on the side. But we've put a lot in it, and we do have another studio down in Greensburg that's your official kind of brick and mortar that we do obstacle course training out of. But here in Greenfield, which is a lot where I have most of our clients at, they're not going to make the travel down to Greensburg. So when I say come train in my garage, that's right. They show up. So I encourage most people, if they ever are thinking about that, show up and give it a look first. It's just like with most things in life, like you never know. You don't find diamonds on the road. You find diamonds that are wedged down, that have mud all over them, but you got to take the time to pick it up, kind of move it around, polish it off, and see if it's a diamond. That's what we kind of have here.
Now, for those people that don't really know, are either eager to get into the fitness world or start exercising, because I know we are I can't believe it's already March already. First off, second of all, people are have those New Year's resolutions. I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to do this. I hear you all the time say, just give yourself 10 minutes of exercise. Go 10 minutes. Dominate 10 minutes today of something. And have a start. You got to start somewhere. Rome wasn't built in a day. I know I say that all the time, but it's true. You got to start somewhere. I haven't gotten that point yet, but it's going to happen soon, hopefully. We didn't have that conversation. But for people who are in the community, who are in Greenfield, tell us a little bit about your style, which I think is a lot different than the way fitness is maybe taken in people's mind that maybe go to the Planet Fitnesses of the world, or the Hancock Wellnesses of the world. First off, two good places, good facilities that you can go work out at and stuff like that. But the way he takes his mindset towards fitness, and there's no, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's nobody out there that's going to be scared of what he's doing. No matter what type of person you are, no matter what your exercise, your level of exercise, he wants you to set a goal, and he wants to help you achieve that goal. So I basically want to elaborate a little bit about that and how you go about your clientele, and how you personalize their program and make sure that they're holding themselves accountable on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Well, like the big thing, so coming out of resolutions, now if you're a gym member right now, you are noticing that there are less people at your gym now. Like, we're coming out of the bottom of the resolution. And I've ran traditional health clubs. I ran a YMCA. I ran Family Fun and Fitness for a while. I've worked on Anytime's marketing team. So I've had a variety of those. And it's not to throw shade at them. I mean, I truly love anything that gets somebody moving and fit. If that's not a gym at all. Some guys just love to go run.
Right.
Good.
You're good, yeah.
I have other guys that love the traditional gym setting. And if that works for you, fantastic. Statistically, it doesn't work for a lot of people, and that's why we go in March with best expectations and we fall off we go into January and we fall off by March. A lot of that comes down to accountability and adventure. So you've heard several places I've been before. I didn't even introduce myself as a personal trainer or owner of a fitness brand or anything like that. I'm an adventure coach, and what that means for me is totally different. Yes, my medium is fitness. I have people that are like, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds. Hey, I want to do these kind of things. And that's what a traditional gym kind of focuses on, is what are those kind of first knee-jerk goals. I don't. In order for you to be a client with me, you have to have something on your adventure list. What do you want to go do with your fitness? It's great that you want to lose 10 pounds. Like, obviously that makes everybody better.
Right.
What are you going to do with it? Like, what about losing 10 pounds is going to improve your life? And chances are, when you start peeling back that onion and getting deeper into it, you have an adventure you want to go on. I have clients that do big adventures that are easy to see, like hike Mount Kilimanjaro. We had Skylar Edwards over at Custom Metals here in Greenfield. He hiked Kilimanjaro. That was on his bucket list, and he wanted a group of friends to do that, and he wanted to be in the middle so that he could enjoy being on the hike with buddies. Summiting was cool, but his real adventure was sharing that kind of bro moment with all his guys. You want to be a part of that. That gets me excited. That's something that, instead of a bunch of sets and reps of things that you don't know why they're going to pay off, I'd say, hey Mitch, if your goal is this, and we're going to go on this adventure, push-ups are part of that. Doing cardio is a part of that. These things go in it, but you're more willing to do it because you got to put it to the test. There's a day and time you're going to go on that adventure, and we make you commit to that. Even with our branding, Change Fitness, to me, when we set up that as a brand, we didn't want to change the fitness industry. We wanted to change people individually in their fitness field. So we wanted them to come up with an adventure to go on and then change to be able to achieve that. I love bucket lists. I make plenty of them. The only thing negative about a quote bucket list is it's usually a big list of things you're never going to do. So we make our clients come up with something on their bucket list that we're going to shoot towards, and we're going to put a day and time to that. So maybe Kilimanjaro is your like up top bucket list, but you've never ran a 5K, or you've never hiked 3 miles or done an overnight hike. Kilimanjaro is like a 3 to 5 day trip depending on your Sherpa. Like, you have to be able to camp and do things. So we'll break that down, and you're not going to get Kilimanjaro 12 weeks from now if you're starting at zero.
Right.
But maybe we set up for June, you're going to do an overnight hike. So we help you get gear, we help you do all that stuff. And I don't want to just limit it to hiking. I mean, we have people that run their first marathon. Well, if you haven't ran a 5K,
why are you going to run a marathon?
I don't want you, if the marathon is truly your bucket list thing, you don't need to settle and say, well, my bucket list is a 5K. Because then you're going to get there and not be happy.
Right.
But if marathon's the bucket list thing, you have steps to get there. We need to do a 5K. We need to run a 5K, not just walk it. We need to, do all these steps in between. And those become little mini buckets that are fun to achieve. But that big bucket thing is always what we're shooting towards. So
I think that can probably resonate with a lot of people, because you do work with a lot of, either business owners, people who are high up in maybe a corporation, organization. And the good news is that a lot of people are locally here in Hancock County. Or in Greenfield. So that's the cool and unique part about what you do, is I think it transmits, not only you're establishing something, whether that's for them first thing in the morning that they get up and they get going and they get in here and get their exercise or get their work in, and then they go to their job place or their workplace and they've got that same mindset that they bring in here in the gym. So I think, as far as the payoff for you, one, seeing them achieve those goals, whatever that goal or bucket list item potentially could be, but also watching them succeed maybe more than they were previously. They might have been struggling in a business place. You probably see a bigger payoff in your eyes in that nature for those clients, correct?
Yeah, like there's something. So when you achieve something on your bucket list, you empower yourself. It's not about the end bucket thing. Like, again, Kilimanjaro is cool. You're going to have that memory, and that memory is going to fade. The work that it took, the perseverance you had to get there, because nothing in fitness is linear. So had an attorney, awesome guy, had an attorney. He wanted to do an obstacle course race. You know, that was a big thing. He's a pretty big guy. He's like, I just need help getting through this thing. I'm like, great, we'll focus on this obstacle course. We go and we achieve that, and I actually got to go through the race with him. And at one point, we did this barbed wire crawl, and it's just miserable.
You say bar crawl like a
barbed
wire?
No,
not a bar.
Not
a bar crawl.
So we did a barbed wire crawl, and he's in the pain cave at this point. And a barbed wire crawl is not too challenging for a lot of people, but you know, based on his size, his chest cavities almost near the barbed wire crawl, so he has to army crawl this thing, and it's uphill in the middle of July in Indiana, and miserable. And it takes him like half an hour to get through this thing. So sun's beating down on you, you're just in the pain cave. And we get through, we get the race done. You know, he doesn't quit, he stays after it. That's why it takes us, like, we had to stop and get a drink break and a little bit of food in the middle of it. Like, I helped get you through it. And we get done, and hugging at the end, doing that. And I'm like, man, this guy, he's got it now. He's really gonna be on fire. Fast forward about a month later, I'm talking to his wife, and they had some other things going on, and you could tell that they were struggling with some things, but he's on fire still. And I'm like, what do you think the biggest shift is? And she said, we have a saying at home: no matter how bad something sucks, so if somebody's got to take out the trash, or stay all night up for a project, or like business owners, burn the midnight oil, we say, at least it's not a barbed wire crawl. Completely reframed. And I love that. And sometimes, the barbed wire crawl is not the thing, but he found in that moment that was his own personal hell, and he persevered through it. We built the infrastructure for him to persevere, to be challenged, but yet persevere. And that reframes everything. So, it could be your barbed wire crawl, it could be the 22nd mile in a marathon, whatever the thing is. But man, it's so empowering. Once you get past that, you can do anything. Like, yep. Waking up at 2 a.m. with the kids crying, it isn't as big of a deal if you're like, man, at least I'm not freaking stuck in a barbed wire crawl.
And that's fine. I mean, that's exactly correct. No matter like life lessons and motivation, or however you may want to take it, we do make life a little bit harder sometimes, and I think it needs to be. And you do spend time thinking and working on, say, your fitness. I'm going to get better this month or this year is going to be a start of, people say I'm going to get better fitness, I'm going to get better physically this year, I'm going to work out this year. Why'd you say this year? Why I'm going to start being more physically fit? Because if I'm more physically fit, it's going to help me be more mentally prepared for my day-to-day life, my day-to-day job. And you're probably going to take something from your time working out or whatever. If you're putting your effort into it, or you have somebody like you who is not just a fitness coach, but somebody who is pushing them to achieve goals, you're going to take away positive things from that on your day-to-day journey down life, that you may get better. You may find better things from that specific routine than you actually do. You get out of actually becoming more physically fit. Mm-hmm. Because if you're gaining the trust from you, let's just say I gain your trust from you, and I want my goal, my end goal, and what I want to achieve. If it wasn't for the things that I pushed through with you, it may be that getting up at 2:00 in the morning with a child, or knowing I got a business plan, or I've got something to do on a specific deadline. You could easily give up and say, I'm just going to go. I'll get that done later. I'll procrastinate. Well, a lot of people's procrastination with you is probably getting up and getting here. So that can develop from a bad habit to a good habit, which transmits into their day-to-day life. Yeah. And that's so unique and so cool what you said about your a barbed wire crawl. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome, because they're taking something fun, not necessarily funny, but something he learned outside of the relationship, outside of his job, that he now can incorporate with his day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Well, the big thing is, so like when we talk a lot about being soft, and usually in a fitness field, you think physically soft. You're like, hey, you know, I've got belly fat or things like that, so he's calm and soft that way, and that's not it. Soft is a mentality. So when we say that we've gotten soft, I mean, think about so many things in your life that is made really simple and easy for you. I mean, we have diapers we throw away so you don't have to wash them anymore. We have, you know, doorbell things that watch our packages so you don't have to. We have all these things that we have air conditioning that's on, you know, smart wise. Like, they're great things, don't get me wrong. But we've now made our society, our culture, adverse of pain. So the opposite of this pain is being insulated in all these comforts. And what I try to get with clients is most adventures take pain. Like, not always physical pain, that often is, but it takes a pain and discomfort, because that's what really pays off. Like, you don't get home and you're like, man, I love air conditioning. Only time you know that you love air conditioning is when it breaks. When it's 95 degrees because it broke. Then the pain of that.
You're calling Dan Canner to come fix your heating.
You appreciate it.
Right.
Same thing goes with like a fitness journey is like when people are getting more out of shape, they don't even know it. Like they'll make the joke, hey, you know, I gained 10 pounds, or, you know, I don't want to get in my 2-piece, or don't catch me with my shirt off outside. Like, that happens, but they don't realize how far it slides, because it doesn't hurt until it does hurt.
Yeah.
And it hurts usually in my world when somebody comes and tells me, I had a 60-year-old, his son got incarcerated and he had to adopt his grandson. He came to me and said, hey, my grandson plays soccer and I can't run with him. I can't do anything. Now I'm going to be dad. And I'd let my fitness go. I can't be a good dad to him if I let my fitness go. So we had to work back. Like, he just realized that pain. A lot of people have, you know, heart attacks or are diagnosed with something, or, you know, they buy the seatbelt extender for the first time. Like, that's a painful thing to go, dang, like, now it hit me in the face. So a lot of my world is addressing that pain and finding a process to get over it. And when you get over that process, when you enjoy the journey of going through that hell or that pain, then the fruit on the other side of that is amazing, because it makes everything else taste a little sweeter.
Now, I just took two things from that. One, you talk about, like, for instance, going through, you know, we obviously enjoying the adventure. Like, when you start enjoying the uphill climb, or you enjoy the process, fall in love with the process, you're going to start doing something successful. It may not happen right then and there, but it'll fall into place down the road. And on a physicality standpoint, you know, unfortunately, I'm sure you probably see this. I mean, we talk about you don't know what you have until you may hit rock bottom, or you don't make a change, or you know, it may be when shit hits the fan before you start turning things around. You may not see it, and that's okay, because that's part of life's journey. That's part of, you know, being down here and making your way up, and then looking back and saying, you know what, I'm so glad that happened, because I wouldn't be on top of where I'm at now. But on a fitness standpoint, for your specific health, that's got to be kind of, maybe in your mind, does that have to flip a little bit? Because physically, your health is obviously the main thing that keeps you going. Keeps your heart beating, keeps your mind going, keeps you healthy, keeps you being able to move. If you didn't have good health, you would be dead.
Right. Okay,
so on a standpoint for people who, you're right, sometimes it does take for them to have a heart attack, or the doctor saying, hey, dude, you need to fix this now, or something's going to happen in less than 3 years. That, in your mind, almost is, or on a fitness standpoint, you can't wait until that time. It may, but sometimes it does. Yeah. I know we all see it, but that can be a life or death situation for individuals.
The hard thing is you would think, heart attack is probably, I mean, we have such a heart attack, not all of them can be prevented, but a lot of them are linked with obesity issues. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people have that life event. They have their first heart attack, it doesn't kill them. They have an immediate talk with the doctor. It's like, you need to change this in your life. The sad thing is, I don't have statistics in front of me, but the sad thing is most of those people after 9 months don't continue on their path. So often the thing I think with when people think about fitness is they think about this long journey and this big long process. And that's life. Life is a long process.
Of course.
Your fitness journey, to me, is a marathon of sprints. And that sounds weird. Most people are talking about trendy things like make these lifestyle choices. And, you know, mine is that's why we focus on adventures. Let's sprint to this adventure and then find a new adventure. Not, hey, I'm going to lose 10 pounds and keep it off for the next 25 years. You're one car crash away from that being an impossible goal. Like, you don't know what life's going to give you. So mine is, we focus on sprinting because people can keep their attention to sprinting. And if we sprint and then we kind of look around and be like, yeah, I like this place, or no, I don't like this place, let's go to Zag. That's, to me, how I approach with fitness, because again, we have a lot of people that come in and just had the life episode, and that scares them for a while. But if it's just like this big, long, daunting task, well, I can never have bacon, you know, I have to do 90 minutes of cardio every day for the rest of my life, at some point they're gonna get burned out.
Right.
So I kind of take that and go, great, you just had this thing, and obviously we need to address, you know, your blood pressure, your nutrition, your cardiovascular health, things like that. But, you know, let's wrap that up in a different package so you can sprint to it. Like, let's talk about going on your post-heart attack vacation. Can you sign up for a cruise? And oh, by the way, you want to walk around on the pool deck. So losing a little bit of weight is going to help get us there. But that cruise becomes our destination. So we work hard to get to that cruise. And then once you have your cruise, you celebrate, you enjoy, you take a deep breath of air. And then you look around and go, where do I want to send this? Where do I want to sprint next? Because you can't see, there is no marathon that is from point to point in a straight line you can see from start to finish. It's too long of a journey. But man, you can sprint. You can see quarter mile, half mile, some places you can see a mile, 2 miles down the road. You can make that sprint. So that's what I try to put in front of clients, and that's how I work with my fitness is, you know, I signed up for races. I'm going to do this Georgia Death race. Mm-hmm. That's my sprint. It gave me a day and a time that I've got to do. Now it's more than a sprint because it's like 70 plus miles. But it's my sprint, it's my event, it's my push to get up there. Now once I get done with that, I'll recover a little bit. I don't want to break the machine by running it hard all the time, kind of let down. But then I have something in place after that then picks it back up so I can sprint again.
Now with that, the Georgia Death race,
yeah.
right? Death race?
Yeah, Georgia Death race.
You failed a couple times.
Yeah, I'm a 3-time failure.
Don't think that this dude is just some freak athlete, dude. I'm kidding. This is not an easy race.
Well,
but at the end of the day, you failed. You worked hard. You failed. Notice, okay, I got to work even harder.
Yeah.
Prepared wise, you're not gonna. It's not gonna happen overnight.
Well, and it's like, it's so weird. Like, Instagram is a huge thing in the fitness field.
Right.
You can go on there and see beautiful bodies, and a lot of times they're probably put up on this pedestal where they're like, man, that guy must know everything about fitness because he's there.
Don't expect to go to my Instagram page and see that.
But chances are that's not it. And like, you know, I could be a little more fit and things like that. I'm obviously, I'm not a cover model. My doors have not been broken down for Men's Health yet. But what I look at is I'm a real person in the real environment. Our things may be different. Maybe you never want to do a 70-mile death race, but I understand what failure is. Mm-hmm. I understand this is my 4th attempt at it. So when I have somebody that says, hey, you know, I've yo-yoed on diets and blah, 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 when they hear about what I've done, like, oh, this dude did, you know, 24-hour races, he raced 300-mile triathlons, like, a lot of times I get kind of eye roll of this guy doesn't understand what it is to struggle with this. That's crap. Like, no, I set things up for me that are hard struggles for me. Georgia Death Race has absolutely kicked my tail. I mean, I've walked away from that event broken. I wouldn't say as far as depressed, but like broken, like on the side of the road, contemplating life. Like maybe I want to walk away from fitness if I felt like fraud, you know, the big gamut of emotion. And then I look at those afterwards once I can decompress and going, wait a minute, that's a lot of what my clients go through. Like they're filling out their food logs and they have a sugar addiction, and for them to write that they just ate, you know, the 3rd Twinkie, like they're going through that depression, like that frustration, that moment where they don't want to report that to me. And then I can kind of set back at it. It's not apples to apples, but it's experiences, where I can go, no, like I feel this.
I get you.
I understand this. Like, and same thing goes with Triumph. Like, you know, my dad came and he crewed for me for the 300-mile triathlon across Florida. that was one of the most awesome bonding experiences with my dad that I've ever had. And so at the end, when I'm crossing, you know, I pull him up on finishing, and he's crossing the finish line with me. And somebody was asking later, like, you know, why didn't you get your own? I'm like, my dad got less sleep than I did. I mean, he had to stay up at night, clean my bike, wash my wetsuit out, get all my stuff up. I had ice pants. He had to change those while I'm sleeping. I'm like sleeping with food on my chest because I just, you know, had a 14-hour day of event. And my dad's up cleaning stuff and doing stuff. And that's the bonding. So when I have somebody that comes in and is like, you know, hey, I don't have good family support. You know, I have these other issues, most weight issues or fitness issues. There's something else there.
Right.
It's the symptom. It's not the actual core problem. So a lot of fitness is that walking back. So I try to have as many experiences as possible and all into the gamut to be able to sit down and go with somebody and say, you know what, I don't know what it's like to be 100 pounds overweight, but I understand what it feels like to fail as a man. I understand what it's like to run a business and choosing between sleep and work. You know, playing with my kids or getting that run in. So that's where I approach people is we look for some kind of bucket, and then we figure out that it's not going to be perfect. Like the illusion of perfect, just because you missed a workout doesn't mean you need to miss the next 7.
Right.
Just because you blew it at the buffet doesn't mean that you need to be like, all right, intermittent fasting doesn't work because I just ate 3,000 calories.
And that's what makes you unique, and that's what makes you different. And you found a way through your failures and through what's worked for you, and said, okay, how can I change? How can I change fitness?
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, obviously that's the name of your business and what you do. And when you notice that, like, how can I change fitness? How can I change? We ask ourselves, how can I change this? How can I change that? The more questions the less times you can ask yourself, what can I change? The better off you're going to be.
Yeah. Well, we use the hashtag commit to change. And that's not just you. Like everybody thinks about it like, hey, I need to get this thing. Like if you can do that, there's a percentage of the population that can just, I committed, and they go to the gym and do it. Great. I don't want to work with those people. I mean, they're cool, but they have it figured out. What I want to do is the one that says, I'm going to commit to change, but that's scary. I don't know how to. I need somebody. So my coaching is with that. So, you know, we have like our virtual app. Big thing with that is you can't escape it. Like, great. If we have a one-on-one session today, chances are you show up. But if you don't, or it's only that one day and you have 6 other days of the week that you can screw it up, by having something like the app, I'm checking there and go, yeah, Mitch is talking a good game, but Mitch ain't posting a good game.
Nothing.
And that just helps. Most people, they don't want to be beat into submission. They just need a friend that continually asks them, hey, how's things going? Hey, I saw that you did this. Hey, you said you're going to do that an hour run tomorrow. I'll tell you what, let me mark on my calendar at 11 o'clock. I'll give you a call before you do the run to make sure you're committed to it.
Right. And it goes in hand with your daily activities. And it's all about helping each other. And like I said, we're all in this game for the same thing. And whatever we can do, whatever we can provide to each other, whether it's a phone call, hey, hope checking in, seeing how things are going today, or hey, did you get your 10 minutes of workouts in? No, I didn't. All right, well, make sure it doesn't happen again tomorrow. You got to get another 10-minute workout in. So it's the one of helping each other. We're here to love and we're here to help. Yeah. And however you can incorporate that in your daily routine, somehow, some way. I told my little 5-year-old daughter when we dropped her off at preschool. I said, "Can you do me one thing today? Make somebody happy."
Yeah.
Whoever that is. She said, "What do you mean?" I said, whether it's telling somebody they look pretty, whether it's giving them a hug, because you never know who has a bad day. And if it's so stupid. Maybe it's stupid. I'm thinking it's stupid, but if I'm telling my little 5-year-old daughter, hey, because I'm preaching it to other people and I'm preaching to myself, I need to make a difference today. That was a tweet I put out today. Today's a great day to make a difference. It's crappy outside. It's rainy. It's disgusting. It's snowing. So,
I love the snow.
But find a way to, on the gloomy day, to make somebody else, positive and happy. And it goes, your mental health is extreme, but you never know who that one person is that could be having that bad day. And It may be someone's fitness they didn't get in, or their exercises they didn't get in this morning, which is now making their day brutal.
Yeah. The biggest thing I look at, so with having kids, I've got 7, 4, and 3-year-old. Gosh, just turned 3.
Holy cow.
And when I look at the biggest struggles that they have ahead of them is how to be authentically connected with each other. We live in an unauthentic, unconnected world. I mean, it's great to have all these platforms and stuff, but it's easy to same thing. One of the reasons I got out of running health clubs was the last one I ran had thousands of members, and I could smile, and I love making big decisions that helped lots of people. But what I found out was I was not connected to any of them. I mean, if you were a member there, my office was right up front. You'd walk by, hey Mitch, boom, and that was it. That was the end of our interaction, unless you came in and complained about something.
Probably would have.
But I look at that now, like you look at, we don't have like traditional TV at our house. I don't know what the most current thing is, because honestly, it doesn't affect it affects the gas pump prices, but it doesn't work. I try working on a micro level and improving people's lives, because if the local community is strong, the national community gets stronger.
Okay.
So when I look at problems now, like I'm worried about my kids having somebody that's super depressed in their class that comes up and shoots a classroom. Now, I know statistically chances of a school incident are not as high, but that's what I'm really worried about, is somebody in his class being so depressed. And that to me is a very preventable problem. You don't have, from the little that I know and have researched on these events, it's not the popular kid that loves everybody, has great friendships, that goes in and shoots up a school. It's typically an isolated, unconnected, they have other issues going on in life. Maybe their family life's not going great. Maybe they just never felt a part of the thing. They're the ones that are starting to lash out. That, where you just said, go make somebody's day, that's kind of the world I want to work in. So my kids, we talk about good character, school, teach them math and English rules, and let them do that. But as parents, like, we jump in and want them to connect with people. So that's where we talk a lot with kids. And I know it's a little bit outside the fitness thing, but like, if I can get somebody that feels better about themselves, that doesn't just tie it to their anxiety or depression is tied to 10 pounds that they may or may not lose, we can start talking about, succeeding, having a community or a tribe. We use tribe a lot in our world, is having that group in and pull. Like, those are the things that then when you have bad moments, you have a group that will A, check on you, B, that you can reach out to. So that's a lot of my job. So if I have somebody that starts flaking out on their workouts, chances are something else is going on. First time I call you, you miss a few workouts, it's going to be, hey, life's busy, blah, 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 blah. Great, we'll take that at face value. But where I think a lot of difference in health models is, that's the end of it. If you're at a gym, the only way I know you're having a problem is if you come tell me. Mm-hmm. Mine is, I want to approach and be like, all right, Mitch, I'm going to give you a little bit of rope here. You can go out and do. I'm going to take this. But we start coming in on a month where you've just had, you're not being consistent. You're not doing things. Chances are something bigger is going on. Hey, how are things going with work? How are things going in your home life? And then that's where you find out the full picture. And it's not that I can go change any of those things, but that's where I can challenge a little bit and go, I just talked to the client last night, let's get a win. Let's get one single win, because life's either getting better or life's getting worse. Mm-hmm. We with fitness, everybody wants to be like, well, I want to maintain. I want to get there and maintain. Maintaining is BS. You can't. It takes
soft.
Well, it takes as much energy to maintain as it does to improve. You might as well improve.
Right.
So if you have those things that pop up, I'm like, let's get a win. Can you go get 10 minutes in?
1%.
Yeah, like go get 10 minutes.
1% better today. I mean, whether that's you did 10 minutes yesterday. I'm gonna do 11 minute run today.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a 12-minute run today. I mean,
or just this is not my third day in a row. Even if it's the same stimulus, it's not my third day in a row. Now I have a track record of winning. So like, great. I did 10 minutes of fitness, which a lot of people, that's not a huge deal, but I did 10 minutes of fitness 3 days in a row. Guess what else got easier? My communication with my wife that night. Like, I wasn't frustrated at it and feel like I'd lost at work. Things are rough at work. I didn't lose fighting with my kids and then turn around and blame her for it. Like,
agreed.
So
you're a big believer in, obviously there's things people work on day to day in their life, which like I said, you may or may not know what that person could be working on. So yes, you're correct. Working on that character, working on who we're surrounding ourselves with, and seeing if there's a way that we can help, whatever that avenue may be. But your health and your fitness, or your time that you put towards that, is you would say probably one of the biggest advocates to your mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. Like anything can be taken to an extreme. We're all a bunch of addicts. Like that's another thing. Like that's just a truth bomb. You are an addict. I am an addict. Everybody's an addict. But if you find a way to push that addiction, number one, let it move. Number two, push it to things that are better, more beneficial. You can take fitness to an extreme that gets very unhealthy. You can damage relationships if you're in the gym 3 hours a day. You can do all that stuff. But like when it's tied with a bunch of things, when you have fitness as one of the backbones of what you do, a lot of things, in my experience, a lot of things synergistically get better. You sleep better. If you work hard, you sleep better. They don't call it a good hard day's work for nothing. Like, you go get a good night's sleep from a good hard day's work. You're probably more friendly in your interactions because you've had an opportunity outlet. My favorite exercise in the gym is taking a ball and slamming it down on the ground. Like that's letting out all of your things there. But yeah, your mental health. Mental health is such a big thing right now. I talk a lot with. Now I'm going to have a name.
No worries.
From the hospital. Yes, she runs a Healthy 365 program.
Terrible. We'll edit this part out. I'm not 100% sure who you're talking about. Amanda Everidge. Okay.
So Amanda Everidge is responsible in our community to really help with mental health. She does like a lot of the suicide awareness, the QPR, all that kind of stuff. But in any of those kind of things, again, one of the things, people that are looking to improve their physical fitness are looking to improve their life journey, not just not just their thing. And then that's where we want to tie in. I always laugh that personal training's the cheapest psychiatrist that you can get. Like, I can't prescribe you anything, but you can vent and you can do it and you can leave it on the doorstep. And then it's just that moment of like, that's an instant, I don't want to say like instant friend, but like that's something that, because when you move, whether it's a barbell or you're out running or something, at some moment that sucks. And if you have other things in your life that are off balance, when you get that extra rep and you have somebody there pushing you and you get that perseverance and that success in it, then it's like you almost get a win in the other column. Like, I know when I have good workouts that I just grind myself down, a lot of times at night, like I come to my wife and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry for nipping at you the other day. That wasn't your fault. I was just frustrated and all that. But it's because I had that moment of clarity during that thing.
Right.
And fitness often gives that. Nobody chases after you when you run. So if you ever have problems with somebody, like just go running down the road. They don't follow. But it gives you a little bit of time that says, I'm improving me, and then improve me improves my kids, improves my coworkers, and improves all these things. A worse me makes everybody else worse. So like,
the way you act, whether there's people that look up to you no matter who you are. If you think that, I don't have anybody that looks up to me, or I'm not somebody that perceives as someone that's successful or motivational or whatnot, there is somebody out there that sees you some way, some type, whether that's motivational, whether that's positive, whether that's someone who they can look up to. So whether that's one person or 26 people, be that person that someone can come talk to. I mean, each individual person is different. They carry their own qualities a certain way, and you may carry a quality that others don't, that they can gain from.
Right. Ego. We use ego a lot. Ego is like in our society is kind of a negative word. You're egotistical, and you're like, oh, like that's not a good thing. Mine is more like the airline theory. Like your ego should be that first mask that pops down. If you truly want to help everybody on your left and right, you have to put that mask on yourself first. So that's ego. You have to address your needs first so that you can be
the best
effective around everybody else. Like, I'm a better dad because I take time to go do events. A lot of people on the outside will look at that and be like, man, you have this time away from your family, your training, your blah, blah, blah. Like, if they're on the outside looking in, honestly, I don't care.
But your self matters just as much.
Like, yeah, my ego. Like, I need to take care of my ego, make sure it doesn't grow too big, but I also have to feed it a little bit, because if I feel I'm a badass and I'm kicking life's butt, then guess what? I grow 3 little boys that do the same thing.
Exactly.
Like, my kid, my first grader, he is the king of the monkey bars. That is his title. He loves at school. Like, he's like, nobody can beat me at the monkey bars. I can do this all
Heck
day.
yeah, own it, baby.
Yeah. I'm like, my wife was like, you can't say that out loud, buddy. Like, that's...
Sure you can.
I'm like, look, he's not saying, Mitch, like, if we're out on the playground, I'm not saying, Mitch, you suck at monkey bars, blah, blah, blah. Like, what I'm saying is that I busted my tail and worked on my grip strength. The kid hangs out in our gym all the time. I'm celebrating that I like this thing. Somebody beats me and I'm going to be like, man, I'm really good at the monkey bars, but Mitch was better than me. I'm going to work to get there.
And one day you hope that he can have that connection with you like you did with your dad when you crossed that.
Well, he's already, yeah, I've
I mean,
already
he
raced
wants,
with
see what
him.
I'm saying? So he wants, that's going to be your bond. And you, like you said, that's 100% awesome that you said that, because my other half, Shelby, has been telling me the same thing. Like, you got to take time for yourself. You got to take time for yourself. You got to take time for yourself, because if you're not the best version of yourself, you're not going to be the best husband. You're not going to be the best father for your kids. You may not be setting an example of, for example, with having 2 girls, 2 daughters. Mm-hmm. Am I setting an example of the type of man that I want them to go date, or them to go marry, or them to go be with? And that, putting that to your mind is like, you know, back a little while ago, about 4 or 5 months ago, I don't think I could answer that question truthfully. Mm-hmm. I don't. I think I could have said I wanted them to be. Yeah, I want them to have a man like me. Negative. Yeah, because I wasn't taking care of who I was as a person. I was acting like I did.
Right.
But
the bad side of your ego was out there saying, I have to feel and say the right things and do the right things.
Correct.
The good side of the ego is going, you ain't feeding me, man. Like, you ain't really
feeling you're
feeding
feeding me is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
well,
not at all.
Moms, like, I love working with moms. I mean, moms are an amazing group, but moms are the hardest to work with. Like, that's hard to, like, say out loud, but because they're some of the most selfless people, because they're raising kids, even working full-time job, raising kids. They are, most times, not 100% of the times, but most times, they are more involved in a child's life than the father. Like, I love my kids. I am super involved with them. My wife makes me look like I do nothing. Like, she knows everything about them. So when I work with moms, that's probably one of the biggest battles, is that they are so selfless. They're willing to sacrifice their workouts, their health, their food. They're the ones going, you know, I really wanted to cook well tonight. My kids love chicken nuggets, and I don't want to fight with them, so we're going to go fast food. Like, it's not just like we don't have time, so we just did fast food. Like, they're trying to appease and make their kids happy, and that's great. But sometimes they lose the identity for themselves. And then what they find out is that 10, 15 years down the line, they're like, oh, wow, like, I'm in a position I don't want to be in, or I think I could have been more effective as a parent had I focused on myself some more. Like, my kid loves doing adventure races. Your kids do a lot of what you do. So you do a lot of baseball. I imagine your girls are going to be around baseball enough that that's going to be a natural thing. And maybe they say, hey, I do softball, or they never swing a bat. Like, you never know with kids.
Never do.
But chances are higher that they're going to get into that than my kids. I don't know anything about baseball, so I mean, I train some athletes for it, but I've never swung a bat competitively. But I do adventure racing. So my now 7-year-old started doing triathlons and obstacle courses races when he was 3. I didn't push him out there. Some people I think have the wrong perception that I'm making my kids be a little super athlete. Like, I don't care what he does as long as he does something. We did jiu-jitsu last night. I've never done that. I can't help my kids at all in that. Somebody at school wanted to, and I'm like, cool, let's go try the thing. But where this kind of loops back to, so my kid has always followed along and done a lot of what we've done. He's done his own thing. You know, they did soccer. I've never played soccer. So we allow them, as long as they do something. That's our only rule in the house. You got to be doing something. And our oldest, right after he was born, we found out he had a hole in his heart. He was born with an ASD, a hole in his atrium. So he's going to have open heart surgery. 4 years old, this kid's going to have his chest cracked open. Right. I mean, like, major, major stuff. And the first thing my wife and I sat down and did, it was like, all right, We know the rules have changed with him. Like that year he couldn't do any contact sports, no basketball, no anything where that chest could be hit. And we're like, that's not an excuse. We model a healthy lifestyle. What can he do? He can swim. He found that he loves swimming. We couldn't change that he had a hole in his heart and that he had to go through this major surgery. All we could do is say, what's up next? Like, great, buddy. What do you want to do? We did dance competitions in our house for like a month. Like, this kid's up. They love the YouTube videos, and he's dancing and doing all this stuff. And a light bulb went off when it was like, this is what fitness can be. The traditional model of fitness is you go run, you go lift weights, you know,
eat healthy, you drink healthy.
Those aren't bad. It's just they're not super successful. So mine has become, great, don't tell me what you can't do. Tell me what you want to do, and we'll work it there.
Yeah.
So with Dom, we're like, hey, we're gonna be active. We're gonna do something. What do you want to try? Last year we did triathlons. That was his big thing. He did 5 triathlons. Like,
for him, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we never, it surprised him. He was first in his age group over the series. Like, we never once cared about the finish thing. We want him to work hard. He comes across the finish line just dying. Like, give him a high five and let him do his thing.
Being able to identify your passion, your enthusiasm, your attitude, and your effort towards what you do is exactly why I'm living life by those 4 things. Because you live life by those 4 things, and whether it happens tomorrow, whether it happens 6 years down the road, which I hope this motivation can make you change, but try to live life. Find a couple of things that you want to live your life by. We all have business morals or business sayings or what we're about as a business, but why not what you're about as a person? Like, live life. Say, this is my lifestyle, this is my brand, this is how I'm going to live life. If people want to come on board with it and live life the way that I am, come on the trains. It's going to be successful, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Same way this is the way I'm going to do it. If you want to hop on board with it, come with it. But I think people have a lot of stop when they approach that position, or they come to that wall and say, okay, I can go this way, I can go this way, which way do I go? That's where I want to lead this last question with you.
Okay.
In 2 sentences, and I'm going to start asking everybody.
2 sentences, all good.
This is tough. It's putting you on the spot. If I've got, and I know my answer, and I'll share my answer when the time's right.
Okay.
If you had somebody that has a place that has 50% effort, like I want to go down this route or this path 50%, I want to go down this path 50%. I'm not too sure which path I want to go down. What is 2 sentences that you're going to tell that guy when he's trying to make his decision, or that woman, that person?
2 sentences. You're probably gonna cut me off for 2 sentences.
Or it could be. Go ahead. But I don't drag it out because it's going to make.
Okay. So big thing is 2 paths. You need to put your effort into one of those paths to start with. You can always change path. I think that's. We're like, hey, we're going to do this one path, and it's bad to put all your eggs in one basket. Mine is like, you get so much more out. You start to walk down that path and go, oh crap, this is not the path. But if you split 2 paths and you don't put your attention at it, then you end up walking the 3rd path right down the center, which means that you've got neither destination on your right or your left. Like, you don't make this easy. You want to go to Disney World or Disneyland? Both are great fun places. Disney World, Disneyland. You don't get there by driving straight down the middle and ended up somewhere in Texas and go, yep, we thought Texas was great.
We're at Disney, don't know what this is.
Right. You go, you start planning everything for Disneyland, and then you're like, man, we found out they don't have the ride that we wanted, or that it's 2 inches too tall for my kids. Like, we already started down this path. And then you're like, no, it's worth plane tickets to go to Disney World. Like, let's change course. Now, it sucks if you get all the way to the gates and you're like, but look, like, you can keep going. Like, nobody gets to the gates and is just like, no, I'm going to turn back and just stop totally. I'm not going to do either path. Yeah. We get too worried about perfect.
You're making me want to share mine right now, but I'm not going to.
Well, I'll wrap up on this. I tend to get long-winded on things, but we tend to get too worried about making the wrong choice. Parenting, perfect example. I'm afraid to screw up my kids, so I don't do anything. No, like, look, I apologize to my kids up front. I've already fractured one of their legs because we were playing too hard and fell. Like, they're gonna get hurt. They're gonna get bumped. I'm gonna screw up. I'm gonna take my kid screaming and dragging into something because I think it's a good experience for him not to quit, and he's gonna tell me 7 years later how I scarred him in life. Like, we don't know what the end outcome is. All we can do is commit to that path and then evaluate where we're at and if we want to keep on it. So we have 2 quick quotes up there. It's not about what you want, how bad you want it, but it's about how hard you want to work for it. Like, that's one big thing. And then the other one, if it doesn't change you, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Those are common quotes.
I'm gonna get a video real quick,
Okay.
because this is gonna lead me into what I'm actually about to do.
Okay.
But I like those. So, those you do pull-ups in those bars?
Yeah.
All right, come here and hold this real quick because I got a question for everybody.
Okay.
I want you to get me in it. The question's going to be, how many pull-ups can Mitch do? Full-blown pull-up all the way up, right?
Yep. There you go. Collarbone to bar.
There we had it. Was that 3?
Nice.
4?
4.
4.
I think you have 4.
All right, perfect.
But like, that's great there. Like, some people you're gonna have a troll that watches this video and goes, no, you got 2 because you kicked on the last 2.
Whatever that word means, kip, but you need to find out.
You kicked and swung and did all this stuff. But like, who cares? Like, waste your life being a troll and saying how you didn't do it, or be like, I got 4.
I was up there. That's more than I thought I was going to do. To be honest with you.
Like, that's the fun of fitness. That's the fun of any life journey. Is there's always going to be somebody that says how they did it better, how you should have done it. But mine's like, spend too much time on the journey, not about the comment section. Just go do.
Don't worry about how many likes, comments, shares, or anything you get, because it could affect one person. If you affect that one person that day,
Yeah. I
That's
hate
all that
seeing a
matters.
nutrition post where somebody rags on somebody like, that's the 7th day in a row you've posted a picture of your food. Like,
great.
they're like, I don't want this anymore. Like, great, unfollow. Like, this is me. Maybe that person's posting it for personal accountability. Maybe that person's posting it because they want to build their menu book and then go back. Like, you don't know why they're doing it. Maybe they are saying, look at me, life's good.
And on the flip side, if no one likes it, they unfollow you. Be thankful they did, because you don't want that person in taking all your stuff. But Devon, I appreciate it. What's your on social media? Where can they find you? How can they find you?
Devon Brown, you can always link up with me there. I love to have personal conversations. We do have a business page as well, which is Change Fitness. Facebook, those are probably the 2 most common platforms for us. Our website is changeyourfitness.com.
Links are in the bio. Links are down in the description of this video, and in the bio as well. So, Devon, I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
The last time I had you on, we had a really, really great conversation, and if you're really, really highly encouraging yourself to get involved and do some things about your fitness, this guy's the man.
Go find an adventure and train like hell for it. Like, make it your thing.
Do it. You can make a difference, and that's why I always say, I'm gonna end it with that. There's some person in this life, this community, that you can make a difference in their life, and that's what I challenge you. So I'll leave it at that. Appreciate you joining me, and remember that you can make a difference in Hancock County. Have a phenomenal day.